In the 90s, Playmates Toys made the deepest line of Star Trek action figures in history. My name's Keith, and I'm a collector working towards owning all 284. I've been a Trek fan for almost 35 years, and most people are sick of me talking about it. But somehow I've convinced my old friend Mike to review them with me on...
On what?
Look at my Star Trek toys!
Here comes the swoosh.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Look at My Star Trek Toys, a little episode in which I, Keith Varney, show Star Trek toys to the drum filler, Mike and Deglio, here on the show. So today we have another amazing customs episode. And today, not only are we all customs, we are all customs with a theme. Ooh. We are doing all original series customs. So we are going to start with a menagerie of Spocks and then finish perhaps with a space battle. Who knows? It's gonna be fun. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing okay, Keith. Always good to spend some time with you. I'm excited to look at some... Look, I might not be steeped in the lore of the original series, but you can't ever fake the funk on the OG. So listen, I'm down with Gene Roddenberry and his original band of brothers doing their thing, walking on carpet on that set, you know.
You can't fake the funk? Was that the quote?
Yeah, well, there used to be a song, "You Can't Fake a Funk on a Nasty Dunk." And I tried to wrap that in with like OG. I was very cool. You might not know how hip I just was. Very hip.
That is a very true statement. I definitely do not know how hip you just were. Tell us below just how hip Mike was. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you who is actually hip. And
I didn't learn this. I didn't load the slide, Keith.
Know how hip they are. That's right. Mike's going to do it on the fly. We are going to, of course, be thanking our patrons, who you can join at patreon.com/K&M. Spell out that and you get all sorts of really awesome bonus material. Every month we do an AMA. We do bonus episodes. We do bonus unboxings. You can watch Mike and now Jen, Mike's wife, watch Deep Space Nine, starting with season 3. That is by far a better experience in all possible ways. We're also there. You can chat with us. Lots of fun stuff at patreon.com/KNM. Mike, who's doing that these days?
Oh my goodness. It's Brian Kaufman. It's Clacy Clark, whoever. No matter where you want to put the L, it's there. Casey Clark, Bren, Joshua, Andrew Hayes, Jorge Navoa, and the mysterious Worf's big old boot shivs. Brand new friend Richard Coleman, CRM Productions, Charles Bubbage, Nikolay Ivanovich Varney, at Grim_Toys, Delusions at 12 p.m. Join them, be part of the team, patreon.com/K&M.
I was hoping that sandwich you ate in front of me was going to make you less punchy, but... set your phasers to fail.
Listen, at least I didn't eat it in front of them again.
That would be a first. That was a level of discretion we're just not used to. But you know what we are used to? The extraordinary work from the people who are creating custom action figures based on the Playmates Classic line. Now, if you would like to send your custom figures, you can send them to lookatmystartrektoys@gmail.com, and where you get me. I'm the one checking it. And you can send your pictures or videos or anything you want to share about your custom figures or play sets, or even just photography of your figures in interesting settings and places and scales. Whatever it is, and
stop the presses, Keith. Stop the presses.
Michael?
I'm. Come here, Jen. Come here. We're going to the one shot. I'm turning off the background.
Oh my God!
Come on in. We got a new haircut.
Okay.
I want the world to tell everybody. Look at this. Yeah, looking good. That's it. All right.
If you would like to see Jen's amazing haircut for longer than a swish, you can do so at patreon.com/K&M. Looks fantastic. Very exciting. Yeah, I gotta come down and see you guys soon.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Every couple of years, we're in the same room for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
So
I got some goodies for you. You make it your way down here. I got some things for you.
Oh, yeah, you better. I paid for them.
You got a free treat coming too, buddy.
I got a free treat?
Big gift.
Oh, I like free treats. All right. So let us, I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say, if you're sending us the customs that you at lookatmystartrektoys@gmail.com, they do not have to be Playmates based customs. Any Star Trek custom figure absolutely qualifies for this show. We focused on the Playmates figures because those are the ones that I have. But that doesn't mean we are limited or you are limited in anything that you want to send over here. All right, so
Keith, wait, I'm hearing the buzz from the YouTube community and especially our Patreon community. Are we ever going to get back to Keith and Mike's Let's Play of Star Trek: A Final Unity?
Oh, yeah.
Specifically
sure we are.
Yeah, okay. Well, we should do that because I'm the one because I want to play it.
Well, okay, no, we're going to. I'm seeing a show tonight, so I can't do it tonight. But at some point, soon enough.
Can we at least look at some customs?
Yes, for the love of God, let us begin our Spock Across the Stars with 2 Spocks from our good friend George Alexandris. He of the remarkable repaints and little fixes on the Playmates figures, vastly improving them. And we start here with a 2022 Spock. But let me tell you what he did. And you're looking at it, you're like, wow, that's just the 22. Oh, wait, that's a little bit better. That's a lot bit better. But it's all in the details, and I'll tell you what he did to make this amazing figure. He says, hi, guys. I have attached my repaint of Mr. Spock. I sanded off all the legal from all of my figures and did full repaint, so he doesn't have all the legal jargon slapped on the back of the figure. The only modification on this figure is that I repositioned his Vulcan hand to make it more of a natural pose.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking at mine, and I was like, what is it? But that's it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you've got one right next to you, so you can we can play that game. Can make you spot the differences. He also made another hand from an old Playmates figure, so I have a display options, so he can swap off and have the non-salute hand. And so on the left there is the 2022 figure, and then on the right you can see what George did with it. And so it's a full repaint. One of his specialties is that amazing matte paint that he does. You'll also note with a hand. I don't know why the figure had his Spock hand so wildly out of. You can tell this figure I mangled once, but I don't know why they made it so wildly open like that. But the matte painting and the detail of the paint is different. Is so improved, and on the back you don't have all the legalese. You can see.
I gotta tell you, even though we had said on the 2023s, 2022s, whatever their latest line, the legal isn't that egregious because it's large, yes, but it does blend fairly well into the plastic. But when you see it without, all sanded down, it's better.
It's better. It's better, as is the matte finish, which makes it look so much more like fabric. And you can also see that he fixed you see the overcoat thingy there on the figure. It goes up all the way over around his collar up onto his shoulder. But if you go back one, and you can see the Spock itself, it stops right there at the right at his the center of his shirt. Whereas if you go forward now to the 2022 figure, it goes all the way around his neck.
Huh.
And so small change, but that fixes it. That makes it more screen accurate.
Keith, riddle me this. I'm not being away in any not facetious at all. I'm serious. Is part of the Klingon, is it, see Leonard Nimoy there, Spock. His makeup is very prominent. His sort of the kind of blue eyeshadow, the cheek, a little rouge. Is that a Vulcan thing? Is it a Nimoy character thing because he was a little bit older, or is it not supposed to be a thing at all?
The blue eyeshadow, I believe that is a Vulcan thing. He wore that back in the original series too, and I think that is referencing the Vulcans have green blood. So as opposed to the little bit of dark, like the rouge for him would be green or blue, as opposed to red as it would be for us. Because
do we see that on other Vulcans, like our Vulcan arm trader dealer we met recently?
Vulcan. I believe so. I believe so. And if I'm wrong, write in the comments below what's going on with the Vulcan eyeshadow. I do believe it is part of the species, because Nimoy did wear that pretty regularly. So if you move forward here, you can see some of the work in progress on this figure.
No,
which is always.
Nope.
Oh, you know
Incorrect.
what? No, it's
That's
work in progress on the next figure. I totally lied. So, no, there is no work in progress for this figure, but there is for our next Spock figure, also from George Alexandris, and this is a piece of the action Spock.
Cool.
Now, this one is really cool. That they put out a Kirk from the piece of the action episode. This is one where they sort of go onto a gangster planet. It's pretty ridiculous. And let me see what he said. Yeah, so it's made from a Dickerson Hill figure, just like the Kirk figure, and he hand painted these pinstripes. And getting those pinstripes to go straight down the figure was incredibly difficult. And so, in order to create this, and I love he's been brained a little bit. There's a little Hannibal there eating his brain. But you can see the incredible paint work that George does, because he's not just repainting the suit. You can see the face there. That's also that matte painting, and the incredibly fine detail on the eyes and the lips there. Had to attach a hat to it separately and then build it into the Dickerson Hill figure with all the repaint there. Incredible paint work.
The stand is also very cool.
Yeah, well, that's a Playmate stand. That's from
before they were trash.
Figures. Before they were trash. Yeah, I think that's a Warp series, something like that. And we can see here how he did it. So he had to take, in order to paint it as effectively as he does, he has to take the whole thing down, sand it, and paint it. It looks like, because that's the Dickerson Hill figure completely disassembled in order to create that. So it's detail work. That's what, George is extraordinary in his fine detail and clearly fine motor control. Being able to hand paint the stripes, that'd be a hard no for me.
Yeah,
hard no for me. Absolutely impossible. But again, incredible work. As always, fine details, improving figures, creating new figures entirely. As always. So next up, we have another Spock. And this is a Star Trek V Spock. Cool. Here, sent to us by Patrick Dickerson, who has sent an amazing collection of figures that he has purchased on eBay. And so this one, he tried to go and find out who created this, who the creator was, but couldn't find it in his email or eBay records. But this is a Spock from Star Trek V, wearing his sort of brown outfit with the weird shoulder. I don't know what was going on with this costume design. I would not look good in that costume design. But nonetheless,
not many would.
Not many would. However, it's an amazing figure because they had to completely build that out. There's no figure like that. So those boots.
So is the box custom also?
The box is actually from. It's borrowing the Spock figure from the motion picture, that they tucked it into that box. So, which is why it's not from the motion picture; it's from Star Trek V. But it was able to sort of tuck it back in there. Really interesting. I really like the figure. I mean, it's clearly hand painted with that matte painting. Got all that detail right. Looks great. I mean, it's crazy to put that much work into a sort of a bad outfit from a bad movie.
It's sort of if Spock were doing the dressage from the Olympic dressage, if you will.
Yes, he's like riding around on one of Mitt Romney's horses. Yeah.
We just made some fanfic.
But it's a great. But all right, so here, internet, the world of the internet. Did you make this? do you know who did? We'd really love to credit you. And I think that we have more of your work that we would love to properly credit. Are you selling these? Would you like to sell more of them? Reach out to us at lookatmystartrektoys@gmail.com or leave a comment below. Obviously, a very talented artist created this.
Yeah, feel free to throw a link, you know.
Yeah, and we just don't know who you are. So, and we've done this before. A couple of times we have reached out, people will know.
It's me.
Is it you, Mike?
Yes, I do Spocks. I don't know what to tell you. I don't watch, but I create.
Okay, I do Spocks, the Mike and Deglio story, or my life in theater.
He's such an idiot.
It's great. Anyway, yeah, hit us up. Send us more of your work. Hopefully somebody will know somebody. It's funny, this world of customizers and this world of the Playmates figures in Trek, it is both a much larger world than I ever imagined, but it's also a really small world too. And so we've been doing the show for a while now. We're eventually going to get to know pretty much everybody who does this. Yeah. And I think that's really, really fun. So new friend, come find us. So next up, we have finished our Spockathon. And now it is time to go on a little side journey with Scotty. And this is from our friend Colin Degen, who has created a dress uniform Scotty. And in case you didn't know, Scotty's defining cultural significance is he's Scottish. Yeah. And so, of course, when he dresses up, he's going to be wearing his kilt and tartan. And so here is the figure that Colin made of it. Because they made, and Colin says, Playmates made figures for Kirk, Spock, and McCoy in dress uniform, which we have shown here on the show, but they never got around to making one of Scotty. Some years back, I made a custom figure that I sold on eBay. I spray painted a Spock torso in engineering red, and I used the legs from a Sequest DSV Lucas Wolinax figure, also made by Playmates, and painted the area below the knee to simulate socks. I used a dress from a NECA Planet Terror Grindhouse Dakota figure to simulate a Scottish kilt. I also painted a belt on the figure and glued the part of the dress to the shoulder to make the tartan sash. And then sold this on eBay many years ago. So maybe if you're watching this, you own this figure that Colin made and sold to you. Crazy.
I hope you took care of it.
I hope so too. Wow, there's so much going on here. I definitely see why Playmates didn't make it, because they were in there. Let's just add a little boop on a figure existing already and not have to do a whole new sculpt. Whereas this certainly you had to create a kilt and a tartan here. But wow, it looks amazing.
That's great.
The creativity to put all right. So hold on. So we have a Spock body torso, a Scotty head, legs from a Sequest DSV show. Mike, do you remember what Sequest DSV is?
It's funny. I only remembered that I didn't remember on that one show, and you had to remind me.
Yes, it is. It is sort of like the submarine Star Trek starring Roy Scheider.
Yes, I remember exactly who stars
from the 90s. Yep. I don't think I ever watched it that much because it was on NBC, which means when I was a child, we didn't get NBC because I lived in the woods. But then a NECA Planet Terror Grindhouse Dakota figure, which is where we acquired.
What was the character's name on Sequest DSV that he used?
It was Lucas Wolinax. Wolinzak. But we just borrowed the legs.
Oh, interesting. See if I can rip this picture down.
But those figures were also made by Playmates, which is really handy because they use the same scale. So I know a lot of customizers use the Sequest figures to build out their Star Trek customs. There it is. Hilarious. Well, it makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't you? Oh, this is
that kid. Yep.
Yeah. I just watched a documentary about the It miniseries.
I thought he was actually pretty good in that, I have to say.
He was great.
Yeah.
He was great. I loved that miniseries.
Yep, me
they
too.
screwed up the ending, but they knew it. But it was a great behind the scenes documentary. I think it was on Chiller, or it was on
Chiller's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not going to subscribe to it, but it's there's some reasons to
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really enjoyed that documentary because that was one of those like seminal movies for me. Was it for you guys? I bet it was. We're all of a certain age, and that definitely scared the crap out of us as children. So anyway, fantastic work by Colin.
Always.
Now you can sort out. You can start to fill in the whole dress uniforms, which I have a pretty extensive set of the next gen ones, including multiple customs. To fill out all the female characters. But now we have a Scotty. So, Mike, we have a finale this week because we have a whole bunch of photos created by our new friend, Sean Mulhall, who has photographed his hand-painted model of the ship that all of these heroes were flying around in.
Nice.
And he has both shot it on his Starfield here and then done some editing to do a battle through. So using, amazingly, the exact same lighting and photography techniques that they did on the show.
On the show?
Doing it exactly this way. You're filming a model against a Starfield or a blue screen, depending on what it is that you're doing. You're able to get these shots in space. So what you see on the show is exactly this: is shooting models.
It does look like the sort of the opening crawl.
Yeah, and he does an amazing job filming these. I mean, in order to get the Starfield truly black and the model lit, it's really, really extraordinary. And I asked, how do you get the lights in there? And Sean said the Enterprise has a battery pack, and inside are string lights that are all powered just by a couple of AA's inside the cutouts within the model that I believe he also painted. And so shot. I mean, look at that shot.
So
I mean,
cool, dude.
It looks like a screenshot from the movie. Shot, and again, it's fascinating to think about how they filmed the ships all the way through the late 90s before they went digital. They're literally just zooming their camera around a static model of a ship. And that's how they did it for 50 years, for probably more than 50 years. And just how cool it is to be able to really get the scale of it and get those lights fully integrated. So it really feels like you're creating new images from the show. Keep going, Mike. Let's see what else we got. So another one here from the side. I wonder what the lighting rig is to get all of this together. It's really neat. And so as we get to later in these pictures, he also did much like the show did, created a battle scene with a showdown with a Klingon battle cruiser. And this, I believe, did the green screen effect, cutting out the models and then layering the Starfield in there. So we actually have the ship going on. You have multiple ships, and from further away, really cool creative here. It's exactly like it's done in the show now, with layering the various ships together. It looks great. Really good job on the Photoshop work or whatever program that you used to. That's very loud.
It's interesting that it's loud because it really wasn't that loud here. Okay.
But I mean, I love this shot here because you feel that menace. Like I started to get nervous as that thing's bearing down on the Enterprise from that angle.
Really cool. Just the creativity, right? And as you see from all the customs that we look at on all the different creators, some are very keen on 3D printing. Some, like we saw last week, all handmade. And here it's kind of a mix of mediums where we've got the creativity of getting the lights into the model, but also thinking and utilizing your custom for some storytelling and some special effects stuff. Everybody's different. Everybody's doing different things, but it's all coming from a place of artistic creativity. And me and Keith just want to keep championing that.
No, it's really cool. You know, and Sean sent me some other stuff. He's building out 3D printing digital models of the ships that he's that hopefully will translate from the digital modeling into the physical ship, that he can then use and continue to create and generate more of this amazing creative work. So thank you so much for sending that. We have in our next episode of Customs, I don't know when that's going to be, we might be starting a new series of what are silly things that the Picard 2022 figures can do, because we did see the Picard in ice. Maybe we're gonna maybe Picard might limber up and do a little dancing for us next episode. So that's what we call a tease.
Soft tease.
Soft tease to get you to watch our next episode. So thank you so much to all the amazing creators who we featured on the show today. You can join them by emailing us at lookatmystartrektoys@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, just at Star Trek Toys. Simple as that. You can leave a comment in the comments below, and you can find us on all the other social media and whatevers. Be sure to check out our other shows. Keith and Mike watched Deep Space Nine. We're into season 3. It's really awesome. We're having a great time doing that. We also weekly do a show called K&M Geekly, in which we discuss whatever the hell we feel like talking about that week. Just cuz.
Keith, so this past week... Yep.
Which we haven't filmed yet. Yeah, there's so many temporal.
Wasn't it cool how I talked about that movie that I didn't even know was a movie, but somehow saw it in a movie theater? Remember that cool story I told you?
I remember that story. That was really good and didn't go on for too long.
That's what we do on K&M Geekly.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, check out all of that stuff. You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/KNM. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We will see you back here with another episode of Look at My Star Trek Toys. Thank you so much for watching. Till then, this has been Look at My Star Trek Toys.